everybody, it's me, Margaret, and I'm here interrupting my craft room evolution series to talk specifically more about this Dreambox. It seemed to be the focal point of comments on last time's videos, so we're going to just interrupt and talk specifically about this. I'm going to tell you 3 things in this video today. The first one, we're going to talk about the price. It is expensive, but I happen to think the value is there. I don't think it's overpriced, and I'm going to give you some figures to show you why I've come to that conclusion. And number 2, we're going to talk about who this is for. Who should buy this? Because it's not for everybody. And number 3, we're going to use it as inspiration. We're going to talk about ways that we can copy the basic principle behind this to find something that's going to work in your craft space. Update, I received an email out of the blue this week with a referral link that gives you $100 off and me a commission of $50 to use in their store. Regardless, you know me, you've seen my reviews before, and you know I'm 100% honest. And I even tell you when I think you shouldn't buy something. So today, that's what you're getting. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Now, the whole reason that I started this evolution of my craft room series, for lack of a better term, I didn't call it that, but you know what I'm talking about, was to serve as inspiration. I realize that not everybody has a craft room exactly like this, but there's certain things that I may do that you could go, ding, that's applicable to me. Or maybe I could take that idea and tweak it. And that's what I was hoping you'd do when you saw this thing. So let's talk about some of the obvious pros and cons of this. All right, first of all, what makes this thing so special? And that is its vertical space. You have 85,000 cubic inches of storage within the floor plan, within the footprint on the floor. So the vertical space is what we're utilizing here, which makes it so practical. And number 2, the fact that it can be folded up. And that's hard to replicate. It's not impossible, but it is kind of hard to replicate. We'll talk about it in a minute. But that makes it ideal if you have a shared space in your house where you have to craft in a main room, say the dining room or something like that. When people come over, you just fold it up and hide your mess, and it's awesome. Now, another thing that I love about it is it comes with these clear bins. First of all, the quality of these clear bins is awesome, and the shape as well. I personally am loving the fact that they're clear right now, because as I fill it, I'm having to memorize a new place for all my belongings. So it's like, oh gosh, which bin did I put that in? I can see very clearly through this. Oh yeah, I remember I put it behind the Velcro or whatever. So that's awesome. But the creative people who have bought this thing before me have created cut files, SGV cut files for the Silhouette or the Cricut machine that you can download. Cut it out, and that way you can customize it. So you can cover each of these so it looks a little bit more uniform, and you can make it match your room. But I have to say, things like that are expensive, and I have a lot of them with this. I did pay for the extra package because I wanted more than to have not enough. Now, another thing, and this may or not matter to you, but it is made in the USA, so it's putting Americans to work. And then the quality for something like this is actually very good. And I think I misled you in the last video, because in my honesty, as I told you things when I was putting it together, I said, like right up there, I could not get the pegs to go in right. It wouldn't work. And I think I had another problem on that side. And then last but not least, the leg fell off the table. Now, if you have bought anything like this type of furniture before, this is not something like my antique secretary down there that have the dovetails and all that kind of size. When you buy something like this, you're gonna have those defects. And if you've ever bought any furniture that you've had to put together, and you know that sometimes the holes don't line up or whatever, in this case, I have to say it is actually very well made. What I'm concerned about is, does the company stand behind its product? So when something small does happen, can I work around it, or are you going to replace it? Now, in the case of this table leg, the holes were stripped, and so I looked up how to fix it just in case, but I wanted to give the company a chance to stand behind their product, and they did. I do wish they had been a touch more communicative, but I got the job done. I had to reach back out to him and say, did you get the picture you requested? Is everything okay? And he did respond back and said, yes, I have ordered your table and I'll email you when it's shipped. So it would have been nice if he had initially said, oh, I'm so sorry you had that problem, send me a picture, and then here's how the procedure works, or whatever. But it's okay, because in the end, everything was done exactly right. Now, I realize that this is not what one would consider affordable furniture. What you're looking at is more of the Cadillac of utility furniture. And you think of it like this, like if you need a car, you can buy something really inexpensive to get you from point A to point B. Or you can buy the fancy schmancy ones that are on the market today that have massagers in the chair and the whole thing like that. And I think that's what we're looking at here. Now, I feel very confident in saying that I really don't think there's a high profit margin in this thing. I pretty much feel good about the price tag that they have on it. And as I talk about some of these options, I think maybe you'll see where I'm coming from on that. But of course, ultimately the decision is yours. So here's a few things for you to consider. I looked up what the custom closet may cost in 2020. I got this information right here. I'll put the link below so you can do your own research if you want. But custom closet systems range from around $1,000 for basic systems that fit into reach-in closets to more than $50,000 for those lavish rooms with center islands and vanities. But here's key. The average price for a custom closet organization system is $3,000 to $5,000. And this was $3,000 right here. Keep that in mind. Basic white or oatmeal laminate closets generally cost $125 per linear foot. And here you have white laminate. So the cost of this is $125 a foot. A typical 6'6" walk-in closet is 18 linear feet. So a basic white laminate custom closet of this size would cost $2,250. This extends 9 feet from that end to that end when it's open up. But look at all the intricacies that have to be considered to make this thing stable. That's why you have this built-in thing right here that, that adds to the stability. This is a built-in shelf right here. It's not movable. This is a thinner white laminate for each of these shelving units, shelves that go right here. But it's a lot. There's a lot of it here. Sorry, I have to interrupt myself as I'm in the editing process, and forgive my appearance because I wasn't planning on being in front of the camera. However, I forgot to say something very important. All right, this is 9 feet across like this, but look at all the other white laminate that it takes to build this thing. Okay, so you've got this whole thing, you've got a side over here, you've got the back of the thing, all of this or whatever. So cost of materials to put this thing together is very close to the $3,000 mark. I really don't think that, and with the shipping, and then I found out recently that the crate that it was put in to get here, that each of those pieces are roughly $65. And the reason I know that, so of course, wait a second, $65 for a front, a side, the 4 sides, and then it would be less for the 2 bottom and top pieces. But the way I found that out, it was because I found someone who does woodworking, and he came and got it, and he said, this is expensive. So just the cost of shipping alone. So I don't know what their profit margin is, but for those of you who are thinking that this is overpriced, it isn't. But I can see where you may not want to spend $3,000 on only one piece of furniture. especially if it's just for your crafting. If you do this professionally, you could write it off on your taxes. But in our case, it was expendable income. Anything I make off of YouTube is my money to spend as I see fit. And so while I don't make a whole lot like a lot of these YouTubers do, I have saved it up over time, and that's where it went. So it wasn't cutting into my family's budget. We have a no debt policy at our house, and so I would never recommend that anyone go into debt or do the payment plan that's offered or anything like that. That's just not the way we run our family. But you know, I mean, I can see where someone would say, oh, that's way too much money to spend on my hobby. Definitely. So really weigh whether it's important enough to you. So now let's look at some things that are better priced. So they may not be custom cabinetry built for crafters, but it's still ways that we can look at this and we can say, how can we emulate the best parts of this? Can we find something that closes? Can we find something with vertical storage? Can we find something with lots of shelving? So let's look. And now keep in mind, I don't think you're going to get 85,000 square inches through any of these things, but you may not need that, right? Now this is available at Walmart and office supplies stores, and Walmart has a better price on this, as a matter of fact. So you can see that something that is 36 inches tall, 3 feet by 4 feet, and it's roughly $464.98 with these little clear bins. The price is not cheap, and that's because not only the lumber but the labor involved. Also at Walmart is this Costaway white folding swing craft table for $242.99. It looks like it folds up nicely, and it has wheels so you can move it wherever you want. Here's something from a furniture store, officefurniture.com, and I'll put the link below. It's called the Harbor View Craft Armoire, and it's on sale for $5.19. Now they show us what it looks like open, and they show us that the table can be folded down partially, but they don't show us what the whole thing looks like when it's closed. But there's an option. Ooh, and now for the fun part. Pinterest is filled with ideas on making your own craft center, and I'll share this link to my board, but just a simple search on DIY craft center or something like that should give you choices for days. Now this one caught my eye, and it's a YouTube video that you really need to watch. Basically, she hinged 4 shelving units together and put the whole thing on casters, and I think she did an awesome job. Now if you have tools and skills, these furniture makeovers are just the ticket. First, we have this 2-part video series from the Hallmark channel. And here's another beautiful one created by a Cricut user. But note that her slide-out desk and her drop-down table are not sturdy enough for a sewing machine. But she doesn't need that, so it's perfect. And then look what I found. This is the Thrifted Living channel. And she has a new home craft room series, kind of like what I'm doing, but hers is way more detailed. And she uses a lot of Dollar Tree things. And that'll be fun to watch. But note that she already owns a lot of very nice organization options that don't come from the Dollar Tree, like this wood literature organizer, which isn't cheap. And then there are lots of options in this sort of thing to choose from too, by the way. It gives a lot of good vertical storage, but so does this Dollar Tree shoebox setup. Now it's not as convenient as having each box on separate shelves, but it works just fine. So I'm in the process of editing, and I want to say if you've stuck with me this far, it's clear to see that you have options. You've got icing on the cake craft organization, and you have meat and potatoes craft organization, but the key thing is find what works for you. Draw inspiration from what you see online. But then I got a comment from somebody who doesn't think like that. Let me share with you. The comment was, I stopped watching when I saw the $3,000 price on that furniture piece. I craft out of my master bedroom closet. Sorry, can't do this. What? Crafters are creative. They take their inspiration often from what they see. And by leaving the video early, she missed these other ideas that were low cost, or in the case of the playlist that I included at the end, zero cost. That was a collab that I did with a group of other YouTubers where we showed how we repurposed items for the craft room, and she missed all of that. So I don't get it. Look around you at everything. So let's go back to the girl who took the 4 bookcases, hinged them together, put them on wheels, and created the closing unit. Let's just say she wanted to do something like this to hang her ribbon. Well, she doesn't have to do anything too extraordinary, but get a tension rod, just a simple tension rod that will fit within her space. The one I happen to be holding doesn't close up enough, but there are smaller ones than this. Problem solved. And one of the things that I like so much about this, as opposed to just a regular bookshelf, is the fact that you have so many smaller shelves. And that way things have their own place. So you could go directly to it, pull it out. You don't have to stack things one upon another so that every time you need something you have to lift a stack and pull out from the bottom. Another thing that would mess me up was my organization. I would go put it back and I'd put it back on top because it was too much trouble. And therefore I'm always trying to remember what's in this box, where was it, oh it was on the top last time, now which one of the stacks is it in this time. So I like this. A simple fix in a regular bookshelf is to just install more shelves. And of course you can look up how to do that on YouTube. However, I would suggest deciding on your containers. If you want to use containers, they are not necessary of course, but choose your containers first because it's easier to adjust the size of the shelving than it is to find the containers that you like. The world is full of options. Now, she didn't tell us how much of her master closet she's devoted to the use of her crafts, but that did spark my mind into looking for some other things, how some people take a closet that they may have and completely transform it into a craft closet. Even if you don't have that luxury, there are things that you can glean from that process, and I did stumble upon this person. This is a blog called The Country Chic Cottage by Angie Holden. And in this post, she showed how she transformed her existing craft closet. Not only is it awesome use of space, but it looks great too. But anytime you go with custom construction, it's going to be more expensive. I didn't take the time to add in the special features that she did, like the pull-out wire basket at the bottom, or the fold-out ironing board and the extra drawers. But this base total is $1,050. So I'm guessing hers was somewhere on either side of $2,000. But there are tons of ideas out there that can help improve our situations, so always look at everything. So I hope this video has answered some of your questions about the Dreambox, help you decide if it's right for you, and maybe inspired you to put your thinking caps on for some creative solutions for the space you're working with. Thanks for watching, and see you next time. Bye.